I was like, sorry, why am I on BBC News?
Yeah. I was like, is it slow news day today, honey?
Obviously, I've followed you for the whole journey.
Thank you.
I've seen you guys have been through a lot of changes, which for many people could have been discouraging to continue. How have you overcome those? Like, how you're here as a 2, as we said, from a 5, kind of to a 4, to a 2.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no. From a 4 to a 3 to a 2.
Yeah.
How have you kept going?
Do you know what? I think we both have the same goal.
Which is?
I think, which is we really care about this thing. Like, do you know what I mean? It's never a thing just because we want it to be popular. It was never a thing because other people were doing it. Like, it is genuinely our baby. I we were talking about it recently. I remember when Phoebe first left, I had a big thing. I was like, people are going to think women can't work together. That was such a big worry for me.
Okay.
And I was like, there's already this stereotype. These girls don't know each other. People were kind of like waiting for us to be.
They're going
to fall out. And with Phoebe leaving, it wasn't even a fallout.
At all.
Like, it wasn't a fallout at all. I remember being so annoyed to be like, damn, like that's going to be the story of it. And I guess the Millennium leaving, that was a fallout. That was like a big thing and everything like that.
That was huge. That took up the TL for
do you know?
some time.
Also, that was another time that I realised how big this podcast was.
Really?
I promise you. I was like, sorry, why am I on BBC News?
Yeah.
To be honest,
I was like, is it slow news day today, honeys?
Why am I like?
Yeah.
Because of a thing that I chat.
That's actually a very quite serious question.
You
made BBC News.
Yeah, we actually did.
I think it made us realise to be like, whoa, this is bigger than this is way bigger than what we thought it was. We didn't even think it was shake. People were like, oh my god, my group chat was popping off.
Yeah.
People I know, people were
My
asking
group
me,
chat that day, I'll be honest with you, was popping off.
It's actually mad.
That's the hottest thing. Was it this happened this year?
Yeah,
and
it was this year. Well,
no, it was announced.
We came back this year.
You came back in January last year.
Yeah. And I just don't. That was the big. I was like, this is, and it kept going because we both, even when that whole thing happened, I don't think any of me and you thought this is it. And I was like, we're still doing this.
No, literally.
That was the first thing I said. I was like, because Audrey was heavily pregnant.
Yeah.
I was like, baby, we're still doing this. Like, don't worry, take time.
Yeah.
But we're still doing this.
So you didn't let that rock you at all?
Well, the thing is, I think for us, we both also felt like we're not done yet.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, we're not done. There's still things to talk about. There's still stories to share. Like Tolly said, I was just about to give birth. I was so excited to come back and share this new chapter of my life because I'd been so transparent about my desires on the show. And I think it was to the year I had been talking about, or maybe 2 years, to the time that I gave birth to my daughter, I'd been talking about I'd gone to get my eggs checked. And I was just been so transparent. So I couldn't wait to come back and share. And then suddenly this big fallout happened. And I felt like I wasn't done. I was like, I'm not done, but Tolly was working in the background. I had no idea what was going on. I was heavily sedated and had no clue what was going on. And when I spoke to Tolly, she was like, we're still doing this.
Like, here's the deck,
and literally, and like Tolly had been working, like things were moving and ticking in the background, and I've never been so relieved in my whole life because I just felt like, no, there's still so much more to do. Like there's still so much more to share. Our audience love us. Like this was not the way to go out. Not that we think it's going to go on forever, but right now in this very moment, it's not over.
And also it was almost like someone wasn't going to end it for us.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Like it's not where like a call.
If you decide, and even the way it was received on social media, did that not like deter you? Because obviously with social media everyone made their own everybody's making their own, and also that's how these things go.
Of course
everyone needs to fill in some sort of blank. There were stories here and there. Did that not make you feel like, can we still do this?
Do you know why it didn't? Like, it made me feel away, of course, because we knew the truth. I think if any version of what was said on socials was the truth, I'd be like,
how did they know?
How
they find out?
But I think because we really knew what the truth was, it was just like, no.
But I think that's something to be said, because when you are public facing in any sphere, TikTok, Instagram, people make a lot of comments constantly, right? People jump to conclusions constantly, and I always do wonder, how do you deal with it?
I log off. I don't look at it.
Yes.
Okay. I was like, what's your approach?
Yeah. Because the thing is, like, and I like people that love me and know me be like, hey, do you want to say it? I'm like, no one say anything. Just leave it.
Same. That's exactly my approach. I just made sure that my socials were no one was accessible to me. Like no one could DM me. No, you couldn't even.
Good.
Now you still can't at me in anything. Like I turned limited my comments. I did that on all my socials. So honestly, I didn't see anything. And you know, we share a lot of group chats, and we said, listen, guys, don't bring. And people don't always bring you stuff with bad intentions. Like I think sometimes.
Yeah, I do wonder how do people.
But for me, I don't want to know. And it just had to be background noise. But also, I guess we're blessed because we have a platform, and we knew we were coming back.
Yeah.
And so much was going on, and we just said, let's just savor everything, and we'll just give our version. Like we will tell the truth when the time is right. And I think obviously that's a privilege to be able to do that. But for me, I just block it out. I don't want to know.
Just block out the noise.
It's actually so easy to do if you make yourself inaccessible to people.
Yeah, and also I always say at the podcast, you lot are not my God. Like I said, and I'm always fascinated by people's thinking that they can get to, like I always say, there's love at home and you lot are not my God. Like you lot can't move
this
me.
Is very
I
true.
will rock your jaw. Like who you talking to? Like I said, and you can't move me.
It is very true.
And I think when people realise they can't move you, it really bothers them. They're like, no. But it's like you can't. You're not my God.
Yeah.
I think it's because the way I'm envisioning it, it's like when things are popping off in the TL, right? That's the news cycle for the whole week.
Yeah.
So how would you just not go on social media that whole week? Because it was everywhere.
I was still tweeting about housewives.
You're just living your life.
I don't care. Like you're not gonna run me off no platforms. I'm just gonna live my life and blah blah blah. And in a way, it's kind of good because you get to see the people that actually really mess with you and the people that are really sincere and genuinely like support you. And it just separates like.
And you know, it was so funny because it was such an online thing. Anytime we were out. Love you girls.
Exactly.
Real life.
So it was different.
Email, completely
real life.
different reaction.
So interesting.
Like completely because normal people won't be tweeting.
Exactly.
No.
People doing it from their burners.
Like,
it's burner. Yeah, you're right.
And also, I'm always
accounts.
fascinated that like your biggest video is a video about you talking about someone. That's incredibly embarrassing.
That is a true shame to the people, man.
Very
How
true.
do you feel like you two's friendship has evolved? Obviously, that would have also been something that probably brought you closer together.
Yeah, we're incredibly close.
Yeah, very much.
We've always been incredibly close. I think outside of the similarities of how we were brought up, blah, 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 there's always been a respect here. And also we have both worked hard to get friendship. It wasn't just we'll just work together and see what happens, whatever. I think we have both gone out of a way to make sure this friendship works. Like very early on, we started the podcast, Audrey was getting married and she was like, I'm going on a hen do. And I was like, sure, I'm going to come. So it was all very like, we made efforts. Hey, I'm doing this thing. My family's doing the thing. Cool, I'm going to be there. So it was like we continuously showed up for each other. We spent a lot of time together. God, we waved.
We really have
Did you
enjoyed.
guys partying?
We were just out on Sunday. We're out together all the time.
In the beginning, every weekend we were at a rave.
Literally.
We were at.
Without fail. We've done
There
holidays.
wasn't no party on shubs.com that we didn't go to. We were partiers.
100%. And I feel like obviously we're in a very unique situation which naturally brings you closer together. I mean, we're business partners, we're best friends, and it is really nice that like because we didn't know each other before, we've really been able to like establish like our business relationship as well, and then the friendship is just a beautiful byproduct of that. And I think like people really try to like criminalize us and like weaponize us and demonize us for being close, and I was like, ain't no way.
In what?
You're going
what angle
to,
are they coming from there?
Well, I guess because we were a three, people tried to pit you up against each other, and like the narrative was that because we're closer. But I'm just like, that is not a crime. Do you know what I mean? That is not a crime. I'm never going to be apologetic about that. It just is what it is. And like Tolly said, we've shown up for each other, and like we've taken like active steps to make sure our friendship is what it is. And like I can never apologize to anybody for that.
And you stand on that.
That's right.
Have you found it difficult navigating business and friendship? Because I know for a lot of people, when they try to work together, it doesn't work.
But remember, we weren't friends.
Oh, because you've gone
remember we went
business to friends.
Yeah.
I think it makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
And also, one of the things I think that works really well is we play to our strengths.
Yeah.
And like no one feels slighted because of anything else. It's like I know what Tolly's strengths are, she knows what my strengths are, and together it's what makes the business run. And also because we've acquired a team now, so we delegate. So we're not really like forward facing like that as much, which is really nice. I think it just like helps the friendship side of things. But no, like we're great. I think.
Yeah, and we have like updates to what we want to be like. Yo, is it like every couple of months? Are we still on the same?
Yeah,
like are we good? Is it still what you want? And not just what you want is doing a podcast, but like is the business going how you want it to go?
Yeah.
I think it took us a little while to realize it was a business.
Oh yeah, definitely. We were just
Like,
mates,
because you're having fun as well.
Yeah.
This is not like
You're an entrepreneur. I'm like, no, I'm not. What do you mean?
Exactly.
We are. Yeah.
So at first, what I'm quite interested in is when you're navigating the friendship and stuff, and obviously now you're telling me you've acquired a team. Let's talk a little bit about that, because do people who are starting out, do they need a team? What's the situation?
No. Unless you've got the funds, of course, absolutely. If you're doing something that's under a company, if you're being sponsored, if that option is there, sure, go for it. We did everything ourselves, including our live shows. We used to book our own venues. We used to do all of that ourselves. We used to edit ourselves. We used to reach out to guests ourselves. We didn't have a producer on it until
last year.
Like everything was just us, and it was tiring, but it was like we cared. Like we really incredibly cared. Also, I don't know how much money we had to be paying everybody anyway.
Yeah, we didn't have a choice at the time.
Girl, we were trying to keep the money in house.
Yeah, for real. We were trying to get paid.
We just used to do everything. And I think when we were not just us two, there used to be annoyances that someone's upping up their weight, or that someone's not doing this enough. There used to be things like that, which it causes a bit of attention to be like, hey, everybody is trying here. So I do think not necessarily you don't need one straight away,
but it does help, because obviously there are pros. I feel like trying to do everything.
No, it helps massively.
It's not for
definitely.
everybody.
And also it gets to the point that like because I remember when I used to edit the podcast, and one day I said to the girls, I was like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to edit it anymore. And that was because it was taking away my joy of being the yapper.
Yeah.
Because we'll be talking,
Yeah.
and in my head I'm like, oh god, that bit needs to get cut out, or I'll like make the conversation a bit shorter because I'm thinking as a producer rather than just being able to be in the conversation, and I wasn't enjoying it as much anymore. But if there was no option, I would have carried on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I hear it. You guys have had some really amazing guests over the year, some real favorites. I'm curious to know who've been your favorite guests thus far.